And here's your host, Bruce Posner.
All right, back here on segment 3, our final segment of the year. We're going to take next week off for the holidays, and we'll be back on the, January 5th, the day of the Virginia Tech game.
And I'm already fired up for that.
Yeah, I can't wait for it. We've got a couple basketball games in between, IUPUI on New Year's Day and next Saturday against Delaware State. A little business I want to take care of. Men's outdoor track and field reinstated. I think that's the first benefit of the Big Ten. I think it was necessary to do because a lot of these kids on the football squad still want to run track and field. I think that was almost like a no-brainer. Terrapin Wrestling Squad rallying for a win over Nebraska at Madison Square Garden. Alex Len named one of the top 10 NBA prospects. There were 3 NBA scouts there last night. Drooling those first couple minutes when Alex took over the game. Of course, Will Likely. What a name. Will Likely. A great commitment from Florida. Freddie, I know we've been talking about that. Maryland's back in the Florida scene, a cornerback. LSU was looking at him pretty strong. Committed to Maryland yesterday verbally, of course. That's for 2013. And let's start our year in review. And let's start by saying this. We each have our opinion. Player of the year for Maryland, calendar year, January to January. I'll start with Wayne. Who would you take?
Well, I'm going to go with Patrick Mullins. It's a non-revenue, it's soccer, but boy, what impact he had on that team. Gets them all the way to the Final Four. He's going to be the player of the year. It's tremendous.
He's coming back, you know.
Well, you said he might go pro.
He's coming back.
And that's great news
for me.
That is
great news. I don't think the money's that big in the pros right now, in the pro soccer. And he figures, you know, the money will be there after next year.
True, but in closing on this part, he's the guy that put those games away. When it was going down the stretch, you knew Mullins was going to score, and you just, God, he's the go-to guy that drove
game
that
after
team.
Game after game. Surrounded by a great team, though. Really a great team.
And he beat North Carolina on a golden goal there.
Well, my pick, and that's probably going to come as no surprise to anyone, would be Joe Cummings. I thought that Joe Cummings really put the lacrosse team on his back. Just had an unbelievable goal, an unbelievable effort against Lehigh to put Maryland into the Final 8. That led us against Johns Hopkins, took us to the final game. Unfortunately, it ended there. But I'll give Joe Cummings the nod as my University of Maryland Athlete of the Year. And you're right, Alyssa Thomas is right there. I kind of feel bad not having her as one, but she's certainly heading toward it this year. Another big story is the comeback of Maryland football and recruiting. I think the fact that even yesterday I read where Randy Etzel wants to take his practices all over the Baltimore, Washington area, actually at their schools. And I think that he's just done he's had the right tenor on recruiting and getting the kids from Gilman, getting this kid Cockrell was just a tremendous get for him and in the DC area, FCA. Go ahead, Wayne.
Well, you said recruiting. My number 3 moment for Maryland the whole year is when Diggs committed to Maryland, a local recruit that we went out and got. And we can be a football power if you do what you just said, recruit the local schools.
Okay, what was your number 4 moment?
Number 4, a few Final Fours was my number 4, and that includes...
It's more than a few.
Well, it's got soccer, it's got your lacrosse.
Soccer, lacrosse, field hockey, and of course women's lacrosse too. All 4 of the top non-revenues got to the Final Four, and the heartbreaking loss of the lacrosse team in the championship game, and of course field hockey.
Well, you said that was a play you've never seen before in all the years of watching field hockey.
I've never seen it called at that circumstance. When you call a penalty stroke, you know, when the game's on the line, you just don't see it. And it was a stretch of a call, and that's how Princeton wound up winning the championship per se.
Right. My number 5 moment was that the Terps football team could not keep a quarterback on the field. That really doomed our season there.
Yeah. ACL injuries, you know, across the board. And of course, we didn't mention, and we should have, that John Auslander, just a great kid, broke his leg in practice and is out for, I understand, 12 weeks.
That's a long
Can you
time.
come back from a broken leg that quickly to play this year?
What day will it be in 12 weeks? Middle of March? Probably not.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. That would
Probably
be a good
not.
time to come
But
back.
for those who don't follow it that closely, he's the kid at the end of the bench that gets up there and looks like he's coaching the team. And the one thing Turgeon has said about him from the time he met him is that kid's going to make a great coach one day.
Yeah, that's for sure. You know, it's interesting when you look back at the year, basketball, you know, as it ended last year, and Terrell Stoglin, the nature of the team, like, just about turned over. Of course, Alex Len was there, but look at Alex Len now versus then. And, of course, you know, we forget so quickly about the tremendous contributions of number 14, Sean Mosley. Where is Mosley now?
From last I saw, I thought he was still playing in Poland.
He is playing, but he's playing in the upper leagues?
He is, and you mentioned Stoglin is now playing in Greece. He had 30 points the other night.
Really? I'll have to look that up. That's good for him, you know.
But number 6 on my list is that Turgeon brings in the goods. We had a recruiting class that was Shaq. You know, we had Lehman, Mitchell, Allen. So it's another case of Terps getting out there and recruiting.
Talked to Mark Clem the other day. He was at the game. He watched Melo Trimble play. Hit 6 threes. I think this kid's a lot. He's a riser, and his stock is rising quickly, much more than we know. But with Melo Trimble and Roddy Peters coming in next year.
And Dodd.
Yeah, and I forgot DeMonte Dodd and Evan Smoltridge. Yeah, the kid from Michigan, Freddie, they're just raving about him. Let's look forward a little bit as we go. The ACC is not what it used to be when Coastal Carolina beats Clemson by 23. When everybody's beating North Carolina, they'll certainly fall out of the top 20. 18 games in the ACC. Let's each really take a gamble here. At first, if you would have told me we might win 10 or 11 games, I would have said there's no way in the world. Now I'm beginning to think that we might.
I think we can. I had us down for 12 wins, and Bruce, as usual, says, you're crazy, you're over-optimistic about Maryland, but I think we can get 12 wins because we're going to get better, and the rest of those teams don't scare me right now. It doesn't mean that Carolina's not going to get better, because when you have those kind of athletes, maybe Roy can coach one up, but he's not a great coach. He's a great recruiter, he has great teams, and those are his strengths and then coaching. Coach K's got it going down there at Duke, and they scare me. They got that big recruit the other day.
Jabari Parker, and he is getting just killed on Twitter, which is ridiculous. You know, it's funny they had 10,700. I think there could be an effect of these games not being on TV is might be upping the crowd a little bit. The game again was not on TV last night. It was on ESPN3, but that's not really, you know, look. That's not TV. You got to be adept to get that. You have to kind of know what you're doing per se. But it might be helping the crowd a little bit, Wayne.
It might be, but I'm looking forward to the Big Ten Network where all our games are on TV again.
Yeah. Well, when the Big Ten Network comes in, and when we hit the Big Ten, well, first of all, basketball. I think the 8 ACC games, the 9 ACC games. I think you'll have about 7 sellouts. I think it's getting to that point.
Well, I track the future ticket sales. I go on StubHub a lot, and the ticket prices for Maryland basketball are going up, especially for anybody wants Duke tickets. You better buy them now because they are really going up.
All of them are. I mean, all of them are triple the price, and that tells you there's a shortage. The downstairs is gone for every game. There is not one downstairs seat, and the only thing left are a couple thousand in the upper reaches. I think they'll sell out all the ACC games. So if you're listening, don't wait. All right, Duke's sold out. I think Carolina's almost sold out. And I'm getting my final minute signal here from. All right, listen, that about wraps us up for 2012. I'd like to take a minute to thank my 2 sidekicks, my 2 partners here. That, of course, Rick Jacklich, who's not in today, and is. You know, he's a little under the weather. He's recovering great. He's almost 100% back. And Rick's just a great guy. And of course, Wayne, it's been a great year for me getting a relationship with you. And you never knew what was going to happen when you won that auction, did you?
No, but it's been good. Bruce, thank you for the opportunity. To everybody who listens, thanks for listening. I'm really looking forward to 2013. I know you are. Lacrosse, football, getting Duke here in basketball. It's going to be a great year.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's going to wrap it up for today. You've been listening to Kelly & Associates Insurance Group TerpTalk here on 1580. We'd like to thank 1580 for all their support, and the Baltimore Network, and Chuck out, and of course, how can I not mention my man Charlie, who's been super for me. So, we will see you in 2 weeks from today on the preview, and of course Mason, our videographer, our producer of TV works, and spiritual advisor. We'll see you in a couple weeks here on Kelly & Associates Insurance Group TerpTalk. Thank you to the Kelly family.